Hello, we'll see another architecture of cloud computing, which is very popular and very famous. That is Hadoop, and Hadoop is our open source middleware or computing environment for distributed computing and provided by Apache. So it is reliable and scalable distributed computing. And it was invented by Cutting, and he named his product on the name of Hadoop over his son toy, which is elephant, and son had named that elephant as Hadoop. Then what are the feature of Hadoop? So it is software library based framework, and it is larger in size, thus it is said to be framework. And why it is framework? Because it is independent of other modules or other software environment, but it provides some features that a programmer uses and writes its own code. So it is software library and framework for generating high-end softwares or programs. Then for distributed processing of large data sets across cluster of computers using simple programming modules. So there are various programming modules that a programmer writes and runs those programming modules over large data set of clusters. Thus, it will be like a distributed processing of those program module. And then locality of reference. So basically, there are various clusters, and Hadoop manages the storage point and storage locations, and all these things are being managed by Hadoop. Then scalability. So you can keep on adding number of nodes, that is machine, on your cluster, that scale up from single server to the thousands of machines, and each offering local computation and storage. So you keep on adding one server or 10 server or thousands of server, and keep on adding more and more resources for storage and computation. Then program remains same for any number of nodes. So you are just increasing number of nodes, but the program you had deployed from master will remain same across all the slave nodes. Then corresponding performance improvement. So if you add some node, then the performance of the whole cluster will improve. Then it is fault tolerant file system, means it detects failure automatically and then delivers high availability. Means if one node is down, 10 node is down, but still there are hundreds of node which are working and which have some of the replication of stored files. So it is fault tolerant. What is the file system working behind it? It is Hadoop distributed file system, and the module or the model on which that Hadoop distributed file system is based on is Google file system. So Google file system is the mother of the invention of Hadoop distributed file system. So Cutting was inspired by Google file system, and then he wrote his own file system, that is Hadoop distributed file system, which is being developed by many developers. And now that Hadoop distributed file system of Apache is a big and large project where thousands of researchers or developers or programmers keep on contributing to new feature of Hadoop. Then it has a feature of MapReduce. What MapReduce does, it is programming type of library or the feature, and it supports parallel computation. So the libraries in the MapReduce type of functionality, a programmer writes mapping function and reducing function, means logical program inside map and inside reduce, and then thus the parallel computation happens over Hadoop with MapReduce. So what are the examples of component are like Pig, HBase, Hive, Zookeeper. There are several others which are the component of Hadoop. Then Hadoop distributed file system, how it looks like name node and data node. So what the name node stores metadata, means where is certain file location and how many replications for there that file, and there are several information about that file or block was being written in the metadata of name node. What client does, client write to some data node, and the data node replicates that file or block into multiple server. And how it writes, first client upload a file, and that file is being broken into multiple blocks by data node and being stored, and its location and information being sent to the name node. Then the client could able to read that file from any of the location with the help of the information client get from about metadata from name node. So name node provide metadata information to client, and then client retrieves its data back. So this is how its structure was defined. Like name node is a master node, and secondary nodes are like other name nodes, and there is one name node which is master, and but there are two, three, four secondary nodes of name node could be possible. Then data nodes are like slave. So the data nodes only do processing task and means mapping and reducing and then returning it to the secondary node or name node. Then Hadoop distributed file system. So name node basically does file management, means mapping some of the files to the blocks and blocks to the data nodes. So these all things are being managed by name node. And name node also maintains status of data node, whether that data node is alive or it is having failure. So data node failure would be reported by the name node. How it does that failure reporting? It does with the help of heartbeat. So heartbeat is the data node sends some heartbeat means information at a regular time interval to the name node, and that it is in processing and it is okay. If some of the heartbeat is not being responded to the name node, then data node is said to be dead and failure had happened to that data node. Next, block report. So if that block report was improper, then also name node have to report. How it keeps check on that block report? Data node all sends the block inside that machine. So data node sends the information about the blocks stored in that data node. Then name nodes used to check whether that name node data node is being means having correlated means exact same information, and there is no discrepancy between the data node block storage and the meta data stored in the name node. So both the things are being matched. And then data node has following features. Data node do replication so that mm, on the failure of a particular node, other data node have the same file. So that data or a block is replicated into multiple data node. So on data node failure, there is replication, and there's replication also at the time of disk failure, and some block is corrupted. Then also that data node use the replication of other storage or other machine. Means machine one has a failure of a particular block, or some disk failure is done at machine one, but machine two or three also have the same data. So the name node sends the data from machine 1 and machine 2 back to machine 1 when machine 1 is okay. So when machine 1 is okay, then machine 1 asks the data from machine 2 and machine 3. Then data integrity. So data node checks whether that block is proper or not, means 100% correct or not. So how it does? It does with the help of checksum for each block, and it stores in some hidden file. So that checksum is being analyzed for each block whether that data is proper or not proper. Then data node also do rebalancing. Rebalancing means balancer tool is used for additional node or some deletion of some file, or some old node is being deleted. So the balancing is required for both blocks and for batch processing as well. So some balancer is feature is there inside data node which balances addition of new node, deletion of new old node, and deletion of some old file or addition of new file. So these all things are being managed by data node. So both name node and data node has different features to perform. Then HDFS replication. How HDFS replicates? Basically, name node stores metadata and information about number of replications and where and which machine or server it has been replicated, and what are the part of that block is being replicated at which machine. So all these information are being kept at name node, and data node stores the block, like one is being replicated at part one is replicated at two places, and then block 2 is being replicated at first server, second server, fourth server. So this is how replication is being done. Replication of the block. So a file is broken into multiple blocks and those blocks are being replicated. Then next, map reduce. What map reduce does? It is simple mapping and reducing function. How that map and reduce function? So it map and reduce based upon some key and value pairs. So what does key and value pair and format should be there? So text format or integer format or some floating format for key or for value. So it returns list of key to and value to. For what? After processing, you supply the value of initial value of key one and value one, and then you write some logical program, and then map function returns key to and value to for that mapping function. Then this key to and value to goes to reduce function. Then again you write some of the logic program and processing, and then reduce function returns key 3 and value 3. So what does it mean? Key 2 and value 2 is an intermediate result of map reduce. Next, what is job configuration? So job configuration is how many nodes you want to use for processing, what type of processing you want. So all these things in the job configuration is mentioned. Then you mention the file format. Then the user or the programmer mentions the location where that input file is being kept and input format of that file. Then Hadoop framework does splitting and division of all these files into multiple blocks. So, and it uses those blocks for processing purpose. Then what a programmer do means what you have to do, you write some map function, means logic about what you want to process. Then that mapping function goes to the Hadoop framework and Hadoop starts mapping task at multiple data node or multiple server for processing. Then what it does, Hadoop does shuffling and partitioning of all the data set and manages all the that shuffling and partitioning for key and value pairs and output some of the result for map map function. Then before outputting it, it actually merge Hadoop framework merge all the output of map function and pass it to the reduce function. So all this feature shuffling, partitioning, and merging was done by Hadoop framework. Then there could be multiple reduce tasks over the key 2 and value 2. So next, what you have to do means programmer have to write reduce function. Then reduce function does re, the processing according to the reduce program logic, and Hadoop starts the programming for that task of reduce at multiple data node. Then you mention the output format in the logic. Output key value type, output value type means integer, string, or some format you mention for the output. Then this output format and the location that you mentioned for the storage of that output is being collected and being managed by Hadoop and being stored as a final output of that program. So all these tasks is being divided by the user programming as well as framework of Hadoop features. Means both the things work together and there are two different tasks. Next, we will see what is map reduce could not able to do. So it can't able to do inter-procedure communication. Means there are two process or inter-process communication. So it can't do these things. Inter-process communication means there are two processes that you have run for mapping or for reducing, but it can't do this means it can't communicate between 2-3 different maps. You have to execute in a in an iterative way, means only one map functions, then you process some reduce function. So it can't do 2-3 processes together. Then data sharing is not able to done, means you can't share the data set, and just it can the Hadoop framework can read data from a particular location and process it and then outputs it. The next, what it can't do, it in this whole programming you can't write recursive functions. So because that recursive function needs some breaking of the recursion in a particular function, so this type of functions can't be written on the MapReduce. Next, you have to do word count. Next we'll see word count. So word count has map and reduce. This is the simplest program. So in the input line there is text has been broken. So you put input like deer, beer, river, car, river, deer, car, beer. So this is text, and this text has been broken, means splitted by the Hadoop framework into 3 different files: deer, beer, river. Then second chunk is car, river. Then third chunk is deer, car, beer. So these are being splitted. Then you write some logic whenever you find some new keyword, means some word like deer. So i- beside that you write comma 1. So this is the task of mapping, and you do it with the three different data nodes. So in data node 1, deer 1 comma 1, because data node 1 contains deer, beer and river. So data node 1 writes deer comma 1, beer comma 1, river comma 1. Similarly, task 2 means that map 2 on the data node 2, do car 1, car 1, river 1, and then again data node 3 do deer 1, car 1, beer 1. So these are the 3 ways you write the mapping function. Then next, what it does shuffling, and shuffling was being done by Hadoop framework. So all the beer is being kept at one location, then car is being kept at another location, and deer is being kept at another location, and river is kept on another location. So it has sorted based upon the alphabetic order. Thereafter, reducing code you write. What you write in the reduce code, whenever you have input of word comma 1, then you just sum that 1, means word comma plus value. So you keep on adding value by 1, plus 1 value, plus 1 value, plus 1 value. So beer comma 2 was the result for the reduced task. Then card 3 would be the result of reduced task. Then deer 2 was the result of third task of reduce. Then river 2 would be the return by the another location. Then final result would look like beer 2, car 3, deer 2, and river 2. So this is how this map and reduce function works. Next, Storm. So Storm is another framework equivalent to the Hadoop, but the difference between Hadoop and the Storm is that Storm is a real-time stream processing, whereas Hadoop was a batch processing. So Hadoop, Storm and Hadoop both are reliable, and Hadoop is for batch processing and Storm is for real-time processing. And Storm does unbounded stream processing. In the Storm, we'll do processing of unbounded stream, means many streams are coming for processing and coming from some server or some processing like sensors, and these type of stream are being processed with the help of Storm. Whereas Hadoop processes the data set which was kept on stored storage on disk, and Storm does real-time processing for all these streams. And there is a real-time analytics done with the help of Storm. And online machine learning could also be done with the help of Storm. Then continuous computation could be done with the help of the Storm. Distributed remote procedure call can be done with the Storm. So distributed remote procedure call are the fundamental features of distributed computing, which is also being supported by Hadoop-like environment. Then next, a million tuples can be processed per second per node. Means there's large number of nodes we kept and large number of tweets or some spouts or some streams are being coming, and these all being processed with the help of Storm. And Storm is also scalable, fault tolerant, and guarantees that your data is being processed. And it is easy to set up. Storm is easy to set up and operate. Next, the features of Storm is topology. So topology is analogous to MapReduce job as we see word count. So topology is similar to that. And MapReduce job finishes, but the topology doesn't finishes. Means topology runs forever until you kill that task or job. So topology is a continuous running process and it never ends, and it is equivalent to MapReduce. But in fundamental, Hadoop's MapReduce stops, but Storm MapReduce doesn't stop, it keep on working. Then Storm has a topology which is looking like a graph of what? Spout and bolt that are being connected with a stream of streams which are being grouped together. So how does it look? It looks like this: spout, bolt A, bolt B, bolt C. So spout gives a stream and bolt A processes something, bolt B processes something, spout give some streams to the bolt C, and bolt C process something. So it is like a tap of water. Water is coming and it being stored or being processed at a certain location and then moved forward with some other streaming pipelines. So this creates a graphical view. Thus, it is being said as topology. Then stream. Stream is an unbounded sequence of tuple that is processed and created in parallel in a distributed fashion. So these streams are being created for parallel computation, and these streams are tuple of some information. Then these streams are being defined with the schema that the names of the field and the tuples means some of the fields are separated within this stream, and with the help of some tuples like word comma count. So word comma count is a kind of a tuple, and it has different schema, like word could be string and value could be integer. So this is the schema, and it has streams. So means continuous row of word comma the number of occurrence of that word means count, word comma count is coming from a stream. Then schema could be of integer, long, byte, short, double, float, boolean, etc. Then every stream is given an ID when declared. So every time when you declare some of the stream, then you give ID to that stream. Next, spout. Spout is basically logic of processing and transmitting some of the streams. How do you do this stream emission? With some emit function. There is an emit function which is given for the topology construction in the spout. So you write and process according to the emit function or procedure. So a spout is a source of stream in our topology. So spout is basically a stream of whole topology, and in the topology spout gives a stream of data set, and generally spout will read tuple from external source and emit them into the topology. So spout read some of the data from external source like some sensor or some internet source or some tweets which are been coming at Twitter or LinkedIn post or Facebook post which are coming regularly, and that are the external source. And then you write some emit function which is being given by spout and storm, and this emit function is the basis for that topology construction, means emission of that stream through that spout. So spout could be of two types: reliable spout or unreliable spout. So sometimes there's large size of data stream coming, some you can process, some you can't process, so you can't store it properly. So replaying our tuple, if it is filled to be processed. This is a kind of reliable spout. So you can write a reliable spout means if a tuple is failed to process, then the spout will reprocess that tuple. And similarly, you can write some code like if that tuple is failed and been emitted, then the spout will forgot what the tuple is being emitted. Means at that time it can't be processed. So that is unreliable spout. So in the unreliable spout, that emitted tuple was being forgotten and not been stored. Then bolt actually processes all the topologies, and it is containing the basic logic functions of like filtering, functions like aggregation, joining, some of the database tasks, or etc. There are many things you can write in the programming logic inside bolt, and bolt process those streams which is coming from spout. All these processing are being done by bolt, and thus this is how that bolt contributes to the topology. Then bolt can do stream transformation into a new stream in a distributed and reliable way. So bolt can further create some more stream to another bolt and distribute it to the different cluster nodes and in a reliable way. Then complex stream transformation often require multiple steps and thus multiple bolts. So some of the complex process needs multiple bolts, multiple steps of stream processing. So this type of complex things being handled by bolt. For example, transformation of a stream of tweet into a stream of trending topics. So example of bolt processing is there are many tweets coming from Twitter, and then you process and write some logic and create some bolt with multiple bolts for generating trending topics. That there is these are the topics which are being trending, and you create streams for those trending topics as well, because it is all real time. And next we'll see Google file system. So Google file system is the most basic thing behind Hadoop distributed file system, and it is been invented very long ago, and it is a scalable distributed file system that stores large distributed data which is intensive to the application. So applications can process those large file and stores at the multiple data nodes and clusters. Then it is also like Hadoop distributed file system. So it is fault tolerant and having high aggregate performance to the large number of client. Means large number of client can be processed with the help of multiple nodes with the help of some aggregated performance with multiple machines working together. Then Google file system is widely developed within Google, and it is a proprietary of Google, this file system. It is not open source, and Google stores different data, and different search engine was being processed with the help of this Google file system. So Google has a storage platform for generation and processing of data, and it is being used for the Google services as well as research and development process. And all this Google file system is developed by researchers and developers of Google inside Google for the large data set processing. This is world well known largest cluster. Means Google has the largest data set in the backend where that Google stores. Google stores all that data inside Google file system, and it is well known world's largest till date cluster to date provides hundreds of terabyte of storage across thousands of disks on over thousands of machines, and it is concurrently accessed by hundreds of clients. Means a particular block or a particular file or particular data set being stored at hundreds of terabyte size. Means that data is being stored at hundreds of terabyte size, and it is being replicated over multiple disks, and these disks are being kept at multiple, means thousands of machines. And the client, means hundreds of client, can concurrently at the same time can access that particular file, large file of terabytes, and then retrieve its information, means small information from that large file. This is the power of Google file system. Who invented it? It was invented by Larry Page and Sergey Brin as the PhD thesis work at Stanford. So Google been invented as a big files by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. This big file is being converted to the Google file system. Means the big files invention was being gone to the invention of whole Google file system at Google company. So the files are being divided into fixed size chunk of 64 megabytes. So in this Google file system or big files, what is the fundamental basic concept which works? The fundamental basic concept is that you provide a large file with terabytes of information, but that terabyte of information is broken into small chunks of fixed size of 64 megabytes. Means large terabyte of 1 terabyte of file is being broken into 64 megabytes of multiple chunks. Then GFS is not implemented in the kernel of an operating system, but it is instead provided as a user space library. So like Linux, these means invented on the kernel like operating system. So kernels are not being used for this Google file system. Instead, some libraries means some Java type of libraries being exposed for storage and processing purpose. Thus, it is user space library instead of kernel like in other operating systems. So this is the features behind this Google file system. Next, we will see Google Content Manager.